Hook or Buy Needles, and today I'm going to do a very basic beginner tutorial on how to cast on. So if you've never ever knitted before, today I'm going to show you 3 different ways of casting on. One of the ways will be with a 5mm hook, because I'm using some worsted Aran weight for 10-ply yarn, and that usually requires around about a H or a 5mm hook. Now the first way we're going to do it is with, as I say, the hook. Most knitters would know this way as being what they call a provisional cast on. It's a cast on that you do with scrap yarn normally, and you would do the number of chain. You would do more than the number you would do a chain of longer than you need stitches. So for example, if your provisional cast on says you need 10 stitches, you might do a chain of 15, because then what happens at the end is you actually unravel the chain, pick up the stitches with your needle to work in the opposite direction, or to join it to the big top or the beginning of your knitting. There's lots of reasons why you would use a provisional cast on, but in this case we're going to use it actually to cast on. So we will cast on the actual number of, we will chain the number of stitches we need to cast on. Yes, that's sounded right, I think. So let's say we're going to start with 15. So if you're a crocheter, you know that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you need 15 stitches. You put your hook down and you pick up a needle. I'm just using a DPN here. You wouldn't normally use a DPN. You would normally use a normal knitting needle which has a stopper at the end. The only reason I'm using this is because it's a short needle. It's easier to maneuver and that sort of thing. So we put our loop onto a needle, and I'm using I think this is a bamboo needle. This is a 5.5mm, just purely because I don't have a 5mm, so it's not important for the experiment here. Oops. So you would put your stitch onto your needle, and then what you're going to do in a provisional cast on is in the second loop from your needle. And in this way, if you've ever done Tunisian crochet, it's very much like Tunisian crochet. In fact, you could use a Tunisian crochet hook to pick up your knitted stitches. The idea is you go through your back bump, you pick up your yarn, hold it in place, and then you pull through. Okay, just like that. Now you've got 2 stitches on your needle. If you find that that's too difficult, you can, have I got a small one? You can get a smaller needle, hook. You get a smaller hook, and just holding your needle, you can go in with your hook, pick up the loop, and just pop the loop, oops, onto your needle. Okay, I'll do that again. You can go into the back loop, pick up a loop, and then you would pop it on to your needle. This is another alternative to picking up the stitch with the needle if you find that a little bit too tricky to start off with. As a knitter, as a crocheter, sorry, if you are a crocheter, you'll probably find you're very familiar with your hook. and you will find this quite easy. In fact, and if you ever have knitted before, you've probably used a crochet hook to do a provisional cast on before as well. So, you know, we can do it this way, or like I say, we can just go through, pick up the loop, hold it in place, and pull it through. Go through, try not to split the yarn. Oh dear, what doesn't want to come through? There we go. And I've just got a few more. So this is one way of casting on. As I say, if you're a crocheter who has never knitted, this might be the best option for you initially, especially if you're not familiar or comfortable with any other cast on way. Oh, I keep splitting my yarn. Probably not the best needles for this job. Oh, okay, whoops. Come on. There we go. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's right, that's what we need. This way, like I say, is probably the easiest of the 3, depending on your previous experience with knitting. But I'm just assuming that you've never knitted, and I'm also assuming that you have crocheted. So there we go. We have 15 stitches, and very neat start to our whatever we're going to make. Now, for now, I'm not going to go any further than having showed you how to cast on. I want to show you 2 other ways of casting on. Then I might show you, if it hasn't dragged on too long, I will show you how to knit. And we'll knit a few rows. I just need to move that across so I can keep an eye on the time. Yep. Okay, so we'll knit a few rows, and if you like, you can cast on enough for a scarf. You'd probably need 25-30 stitches in a worsted weight for Aran 10 ply. Right, I'm just going to take them off now, and I'm going to show you the second way. This way is probably the next easiest, in my opinion. Once again, you just make a slip knot, and you hold it in the needle in your left hand. You need your other needle, and what you're doing is, it's almost as if you're knitting. The first stitch just goes through that front leg. If you look at it sideways, look at it side on, you've got a front leg and a back leg to your knitting stitch. When you're knitting, normally, without any special instructions, you always go through that front loop, the first loop. So we're going to pretend like we're going to knit. So we put our needle through, we yarn over from the bottom around and up. Okay, so we yarn over from the bottom up, and then we pull that through. Now once we have that stitch, there's 2 ways, well, there's only really one way that works in my opinion, so we're going to do that. You will twist it, or not twist it, but you'll get the left hand needle and you will put it through the two legs, slide it on, and then you'd pull that on, pull that down. You don't want to put it too tight because you do need to get a second needle in there when you are knitting. Now, how do we add another one? Do we just go as though we're going to knit? No, not anymore. For subsequent stitches, you actually go in between. You can see that I've gone in between the two stitches at the front and the back, straight through, just straight through the two stitches. Okay, but we do the same process. We yarn over from the bottom up, bottom around and up. Now you hold on to this so you don't lose it. You don't want to be too tight once again because you are going to have to put your needle into this. So pull through your yarn and there's another stitch. Using your left needle, you take that stitch, you remove the first needle, your right hand needle, and now you have 3. Once again, between both stitches. We yarn around from the bottom up and we've got a stitch. Now some people might say, won't be tempted to go like this. Take the stitch and just add it on like that. I don't think that particularly works very well. Yes, the stitch is on there. Yes, the stitch is added, but I much rather have a twist to it. So through, around from top to bottom, out, and then underneath. Don't go through the top, but come from the underneath and up, add another stitch. Straight through. You can, of course, slow down or speed up this process. If you find that I'm going too slowly, by all means speed it up, and then it'll sound like I'm on cocaine or something. I shouldn't have said that word. Am I allowed to say that word? I don't know. Darn. We'll find out the hard way, I suppose. Anyway, so we got straight through. I'll be on some illicit drug that makes you talk fast and lots. If, however, you're still struggling with seeing what I'm doing, slow me down. So you're actually going, I'll pull it out loose like this, so you can really see that we're going through like that. Yarn over, grab it, like I say, from the bottom up. I'm saving the last, the best to last. It's a doozy. It actually is a cast on that I did not learn till I was perhaps in my 20s, maybe even older. I really can't remember. Now you will notice that this is not very stretchy. That is another reason why you don't want to be doing it too tight, because it will not stretch well. The next and last cast I'm going to show you is very giving, very stretchy, which is handy for hat brims, gloves, tops of socks, and that sort of thing. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is 11. 12. Is it 13? 2, 4, 6. keep losing count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Because I'm going so slow, I'm thinking, oh, I'm surely I've done more than that. So it's 12. It's the 13th. Remember, don't go like that. Go from underneath. 13th. 14th. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And 15th. And then we got 15 stitches once again on our needle, which we will later we would knit through. So that's our second way of casting on. The third way, let's just say it's the best way because it's the fastest way once you actually get the rhythm going. It's the best way because it's a really good cast on, in my opinion. I use it for everything. It is also good because it does have a nice stretch to it, much better than this one. Yeah, and it can be really, really fast. The downfalls with the next one, which is called a long tail cast on, is, and the reason it's called a long tail cast on is because whereas I put the slip stitch for the previous two methods near the tail, you know, so I just had enough just to sew in later when I'm finished. This one, we have to make a long tail. So we slip that knot out, and we have to have a long tail, and we have to put our slip knot way down here. And the reason being is because we are using, we do a slip knot, we're going to be using yarn from the ball, which is over here, and the tail to add our stitches to the needle. Now, like I say, it can be tricky, so slow it down all you need, it doesn't matter. Okay, so first thing you're going to need to do is how to hold it. Now I'm going to just quickly grab it like it's supposed to be grabbed. So don't, you know, you can slow that down if you like, but pretend it's like a slingshot. Hang on, I need to probably space out a little bit more so you can really see the full effect. See how it's like a slingshot, okay? Now you can do this two ways. You can grab both threads, just bring the light over a bit more, that's better. Sorry for the creaking. So what you need to do is you can just grab, and then you can put that one finger into the gap between the two threads, and then your thumb, and spread it out. Or alternatively, you can tension it with your finger. So do it like, you know, if you are the person who holds your thread in your left hand when you crochet, which I think most people do, you probably automatically go like that to tension your thread when you're crochet. So you're doing the same sort of action. The only difference is you also want to grab the yarn, both of them, and you want to hold them in a slingshot. Okay, it's called a, you know, like a slingshot because it looks like a slingshot. So let's do that just one more time, and you can slow it down. I'm going to do it this simpler way, which I think is a simpler way to follow. Hold both yarns in your hand. Release your thumb and your pointy finger, index finger or pointy finger, whatever. You put one finger through between the two threads. You put your thumb through the two threads. You spread whilst holding on to the two threads down here. And then you've got your slingshot. Now, to make your stitches. Sun keeps going out. I've got the sun outside and it keeps disappearing on me. And I'm trying to get the light just right for this. So, you're holding like this. Now, in order to add your stitches, you have to come down with your needle. Now, I usually just hold onto this or any of the other stitches I add with my finger just so they don't slide off. So, what you're going to do is you're going to come down, you're going to pick up this, like that, and then you're going to go over, grab that yarn, pull it through the hole, let go, and you've created a stitch. So, we're in position. We grab this leg. We've made a hole. Through that hole, we need to pick up this other thread on the ball, and we bring it through the hole, let go with our thumb, and pull it. Not too tight, once again. Okay, let's go through it again. Come down, you pick up the thread. You're picking up the thread not from the front of your thumb. You're picking up the thread that's closest to you, to your body. You're picking up and you're going under and up. You've made a hole. You want to get this thread and thread it through that hole. You let go with your thumb and then you pull. Or you tighten slightly. Okay, let's try it again. Up, we've got a hole, grab our yarn, pull it through, another stitch. And I'm hoping, 2, 4, 6, 7, I'm hoping I don't have enough yarn to show you what the actual problem with this cast on is. So I've got 6, 2, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. So we go up, we've made a hole, which we want to thread that, pull that other loop through, 8, under, 9, 10, I know I'm going to run out good, 10, 11, 12, 13, see I'm running out, see how my tail end is getting very short, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, whoops, see it's getting harder now to hold because the tail is so short, 14, I might just be able to do it, yep, and 15, right, only just, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 stitches, and once again, it's a stretchier cast on. Now, if, I mean, I just guessed that. I guessed how long the tail should be in order to make 15 stitches. There are ways to guess or work it out. I'll show you some of those ways. So we pull off, we unravel. Right. One of the ways you can do it is you want to make sure that you've still got enough yarn in your hand to hold when you're doing your long tail cast on. So you will go, oops, hang on, wrong way round. You will hold your needle and thread in the one hand, thus making sure you've got a good tail, so you've got some yarn to grab, and you're going to go around the needle 15 times. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, you're going to unravel it, and you're going to see how long you need for 15 stitches. I know, for example, that if I'm using DK yarn, and I grab the end, just like that, and I can take it from my hand, draw it all the way up to my shoulder. In a DK weight, that's going to give me maybe 40-45 stitches in a DK weight with a 4mm needle. Right? So you can actually practice and experiment, but after a while you will get used to how long it should be or needs to be, and you can do it with ease without sort of running out. There is now who did it? I'm gonna have to just check my email, because there is a rather mathematical calculation, a tool made by someone, and what you can do is you put in certain details, and it will tell you how long your tail needs to be for you to be perfect. Let me have a look, scroll down. Don't tell me I've lost it. Did I delete it? I did, I deleted it. Oh no. Well, that was stupid of me. Okay, well, okay, I don't have it anymore. So that's a pain. I can't tell you who it was. If I find it, I will put a description in the put a link in the description box. But it's a lot of math. I mean, I'll tell you, it's a big equation just to work out, find out how long your thing needs to be. So we're just going to try this one more time. So because it is a lot to grasp, grab it, your finger and your thumb separate, and you go 1, 2, 3, well actually 4 because you had your slip stitch to begin with, 5, you'll find 6, that after a while you will get very fast indeed, and you will just be able to cast on very quickly, and you can see how this is so much quicker than the other 2 ways I told you. And that's going to be too many stitches, probably 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Yep, too many. Too many. I don't know why I chose 15, but I did. You've got a nice long tail, probably too long, but you're better off being too long than not long enough. What do you do if you are too short? Say I wanted to add on, let me get my scissors, and I'm going to cut my yarn there. I've got some scissors that actually cut. It's so nice. Okay, so I'm going to... And now I can't cast on any more stitches because it's too tiny, okay? There's no way you're going to get your fingers and thumbs around that. But say I needed an extra 5 stitches. How am I going to do this? Well, here's one way you can combat it. You put the needle, one needle in your left hand, and you go back to the second form of adding stitches, just for the last 5. I would not do this way if you were 40 short or 20 short or even 15 short. You might just do this if you're like maximum 5 short, just so you don't have to redo it. And now I've got 20. And now my tail is in the middle, but that's fine. Okay. So that's casting on 3 ways. I think I will leave it there because it's 30 minutes. Though I did want to, at least show you how to do some knitting, but maybe I'll do another video sooner. I mean, this will come out Thursday. I may do another video or just the knit stitch, so that you can, if you want, start making a knitted scarf with the knit stitch only on both sides, which we call the garter stitch. So if that's, yeah, let me know in well, you won't be able to let me know in the comments because I would have already done the stitch, the part 2. I will do part 2 and release that at the same time as this. So, if you do want to go to the next step and knit, you can do that. I suggest, because you're going to be casting on, like I say, 30, 35, possibly, for a reasonably width scarf, and you're going to be knitting a garter stitch. So yeah, I think that would probably be a good width to go with. If you want to have a narrower one because you want a smaller one because you want it for a child, maybe 20, 25. It really depends on your weight of yarn and how tight or loose you're going to knit. But hopefully you're going to be knitting at a consistent tension. I've got a few sort of tips that always helped me when I first started out to keep the tension. I am a thrower. I am an English knitter, which means I throw my yarn. For example, which means like when I go knitting, I put my needle in the first leg and I throw like that. Okay, I throw. That's called throwing. I am not a continental knitter. Continental knitters do my head in. I don't know how they do it because I have tried to pick up continental, and in continental you hold the yarn in your left hand and the needle in your left hand, and you somehow sort of put your needle in the first stitch like before, and then you just sort of pick it up and pull it through. And I find that just so awkward. But I know that it is, or would be faster if I could get the hang of it, but I just can't. So this is continental. But we'll get to that in the next stage. So that's everything. Good luck with those 3. Remember, you can slow it down, speed it up, do whatever you wish to try and get those 3 cast-ons perfect or close to perfect or perfectly practiced. Make sure you get some needles with ends on them. If you haven't already got some, you will need needles with ends on, otherwise you're going to be, you're not going to get enough stitches to stay on a DPN like this. They will fall off at each end and you're going to be losing stitches left, right. So until part 2, please take care. Like and subscribe. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything to like and subscribe. So, yep, take care. And until next time,